Hello, everyone. In this lecture, I am going to explain line by line the famous sonnet, Love Sonnet 29, by William Shakespeare. But if you are new to my channel, then please like and subscribe my channel. But before I start, let me tell you the brief background of this sonnet, then you will be able to understand it. Actually, at the beginning of the poem, William Shakespeare feels unfortunate and rejected. He believes that fate has turned against him and that people look down on him. He feels lonely and even envies others who are more talented, wealthier, or more successful. This makes him curse his own life and feel miserable. However, in the second half, his mood completely changes. He remembers his beloved's love, and suddenly, all his sadness disappears. He feels as joyful as a bird singing at sunrise, rising from the darkness of despair. This love gives him so much happiness. Now let's start it line by line. When, in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes. This is the opening line of this sonnet, and the poet, Shakespeare, is saying that he is experiencing bad luck and feels rejected by society. He believes that both fate and people have abandoned him, leaving him in a state of sorrow and disappointment. Here the phrase, disgrace with fortune, means that he feels unlucky, as if fate has turned against him. The words men's eyes refer to how others see him. He feels that people do not respect or value him. Simply you can say that he is saying that he is suffering from bad luck and feels looked down upon by society. In other words, it means that he feels unlucky and that life is not going in his favor. And then says, I all alone beweep my outcast state. Now he describes how he feels completely isolated. The word beweep means to cry over something, and outcast state means that he feels rejected and excluded from society. In simple words, the poet is saying that he sits alone, crying over his miserable situation because he feels like an outsider. Or you can say that he is weeping because society has outcast him, and he feels that he is no more considered to be the part of society. And then says, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries. In this line, he talks about how he prays but feels ignored. Actually, the phrase trouble deaf heaven means that he calls out to God, but God does not seem to hear him. The word bootless means useless, so bootless cries means that his prayers do not bring any result. Simply, he is saying that he keeps praying for help, but he feels like no one, not even God, is listening to him. And look upon myself and curse my fate. Now, he explains how he reflects on his own life and feels frustrated. Look upon myself means that he examines his own situation, and curse my fate means that he feels angry and disappointed about the way his life has turned out. In simple terms, Shakespeare is saying that he feels hopeless and wishes his life were different. Basically, curse my fate means that he is deeply unhappy with his destiny and wishes things were different. He feels that life has treated him unfairly, and he resents the hardships he is facing. Wishing me like to one more rich in hope. Here, he compares himself to others who seem to have better lives. Wishing me like to means he wishes he could be like someone else, and one more rich in hope refers to a person who has more confidence and a brighter future. Simply, he is saying that he envies people who seem to have more reasons to be hopeful and happy. And then says, feted like him with friends possessed. In this line, Shakespeare continues listing the things he envies in other people. Feted like him means he wishes he had another man's good looks, and like him with friends possessed means he envies someone who has many friends, while he feels lonely. In simple words, he is saying that he wishes he were more attractive and surrounded by loyal friends. He wishes these things, but he does not have such things like loyal friends and bright futures, etc. Desiring this man's art and that man's scope. Now, he mentions more things he wishes he had. This man's art refers to someone's skill or talent, and that man's scope means another person's opportunities or achievements. In short, Shakespeare is saying that he envies the talents and successes of other people, wishing he had their abilities and opportunities in life. Simply, he looks to others who have skills and scope, but he does not have the same things as others have. And then says, "With what I most enjoy contented least." Here he expresses his deep unhappiness. The phrase, "with what I most enjoy," refers to the things that usually bring him happiness, but "contented least" means that he no longer finds joy in them. In simple words, he is saying that even the things that used to make him happy now feel empty and meaningless. In other words, you can say that he used to get happiness from things, but now these things don't give him happiness. And then says, "Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising." In this line, he admits that thinking this way makes him feel even worse. The phrase "myself almost despising" means that he nearly starts to hate himself for feeling so jealous and hopeless. Simply, he is saying that he feels ashamed of his own negative thoughts. In other words, you can say that he says that such thoughts make him sadder. And then says, "Haply I think on thee, and then my state." Now, the mood of the poem begins to shift. The word "haply" means by chance or fortunately. So he is saying that at the lowest point of his sadness, he suddenly thinks about someone special, and that is his beloved. The phrase, "then my state," means that his situation or feelings start to change. In simple words, he is saying that when he remembers his love, his sadness begins to fade. You can say that when he thinks about his beloved in such situation, then his sadness disappears. And then says, "Like to the lark at break of day arising." Here, Shakespeare uses a beautiful metaphor. The lark is a small bird that sings joyfully in the morning, and break of day means sunrise. So, just as the lark rises from the earth and sings happily at dawn, his mood also lifts when he thinks of his beloved. In simple terms, he is saying that his sorrow disappears, and he feels a sudden joy, like a bird flying up into the morning sky. From sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. He continues the metaphor of the lark. Sullen earth refers to the dull, sad world he felt trapped in before. The phrase "sings hymns at heaven's gate" means that his heart, like the bird, is now filled with happiness and gratitude, as if singing songs of joy to heaven. Simply, Shakespeare is saying that thinking about his love lifts him out of sadness and makes him feel joyful and blessed. And then says, "For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings." Now, he explains why his sadness disappears. "Thy sweet love" refers to the love of his beloved, and "remembered such wealth brings" means that just thinking about this love makes him feel rich and fortunate. In simple words, he is saying that love is so valuable to him that it makes him feel like the richest person in the world. In other words, you can say that he is saying that when he remembers the love of his beloved, it makes him feel so happy and fulfilled that he forgets all his sorrows. Love is so valuable to him that it feels like great wealth, more precious than material riches. "That then I scorn to change my state with kings." Shakespeare ends the poem with a powerful statement. The word "scorn" means to reject with pride, and "change my state with kings" means exchanging his life for that of a king. Simply, he is saying that when he remembers his love, he feels so rich in happiness that he would not trade places with even the most powerful king. In other words, you can say, he says that when he remembers his beloved's love, it makes him feel so fulfilled that he wouldn't trade his life for even the most powerful position in the world. The joy and wealth he feels from love surpass any material riches or power a king might have. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture, but please don't forget like and subscription to my channel. Thank you.